Anyway, just let me introduce what I'm doing. Usually, in most of my research in my laboratory, using the nanostructural material for the enzyme immobilization. But when you're talking about some enzyme, it can be used in the variety of the application. So that's what I'm going to introduce two potential applications. And then potential application in this talk is the membrane anti-fouling, and the other one is the CO2 captures. And so just today I'm going to talk about how I can stabilize the immobilized enzyme in the form of the multi-cycle enzyme criticoing, and then the potential application like this. And then just enzyme can be used a variety of applications as I mentioned, and then I will concentrate. The problem is, even though enzyme can be used a variety of the application, one of the critical problems with the enzyme, it is not stable enough. So we just tried to stabilize the enzyme by using nanobiological approach. That's what I'm going to talk. So in our laboratory, there are a lot of different nanostructural material to be used for the enzyme immobilization and stabilization. And then the one step back, so many people are interested in using nanomaterial because it provides a high surface area pore volume, which can improve the enzyme loading. So when you are thinking about enzyme application in the large reactor, we can reduce the size of the large reactor by improving the enzyme loading. When you are talking about the glucose sensor, which is a very miniaturized system, and this kind of approach using nanomaterial can give us a good opportunity to make a success to improve the enzyme in the highly miniaturized system. So in addition to that, in my laboratory, I am trying to improve enzyme stability because even though glucose sensor is very important, but if the enzyme activity is gone, it doesn't mean anything. And so that's what I'm doing. So I started this work since early 2000 when I was in USA, and just at the time there are a lot of nanostructural materials provided to me because I was in national lab at the time. I was lucky enough to collaborate with many different people with different backgrounds. Just after moving to USA to Korea University in 2007, I started to come with some new nanomaterials, and just naturally I tried to come with the nanomaterial with the polyanion nanofibers, and then we make the carboxyl poly nanofiber. The most way is the enzyme immobilization is the one-story with covalent attachment is what other people are doing, which can improve the enzyme loading. In addition to that, I am doing the cross-linking, improve a little more precipitate cross-linking, even by putting the magnetic nanoparticle. This kind of micro-separation is doable for the recycling purpose. So this is the enzyme activity which can representing part of the enzyme loading. And so as you can see, this is nanomicrotoxicity, but we can improve the loading 75% and 55%. This is the enzyme for the anti-fouling, this is for the CO2 capture. From stability-wise, as you can see here, for 60 days, you can stabilize oscillation distant activity. When the case of CO2 capture, it is 400 days. We got those very decent activity. Then anti-fouling cause a lot of trouble, not only for there's some bottom of the biofouling here, membrane anti-fouling, but today I'm going to show how I can use this stabilized enzyme for the anti-fouling purpose. So when you're thinking about biofouling, mostly this kind of start with the biofilm formation. But if you're thinking of the biofouling, it is based on the quantum sensing, the communication between the micro. And so when they are using that kind of communication, they are using the quote autoinducer. So our strategy is, one of the famous autoinduced N-acyl homocysteine, we inactivate this by using enzyme. It's very simple. And then just improve some activity as you can see here, and then stabilize it, use it in the membrane system. So as you can see, the waste treatment, whatever, in the system, membrane is found. With all the control is going on for the transmembrane pressure, this is plugged. And then by putting our immobilized stabilized enzyme, we can delay the kind of plugging. This is it. For the case of CO2, let me I am pointing fingers, it's carbonic anhydrase, which can convert CO2, 1 million CO2 to the bicarbonate per second. Very rapid enzyme. So by using this enzyme, we stabilized, and then like this. This is kind of CPNF, and very you can see the some immobilized enzyme, and the activity improvement, immobilized the enzyme loading improves stability. But with this, we put the microarrays together, co-culture. So it is kind of substrate channeling. And then with the semi-open system, we put this kind of the very EPC sample. Just before doing so, we need to stabilize this before the launch. We put this 170% ethanol. We found it is stable, fairly stable for 300 millis. So if you know the soluble enzyme, this is very striking result. With this, we ambitiously put the microarray. We can see as a control by putting this out sample, we got the improvement expect the growth of the microarray. Repeated cycle will be aligned. Okay, so this is it. This is it, and I'm sorry for this kind of control in the beginning. Hopefully, just my presentation give a sense of what's going on in my lab.